Hey Toy Family, welcome to another edition of the Marsham Toy Hour, where we discuss anything and everything designer toys. I'm Gary Ham.
I'm George Gaspar.
And no Teresa this week. She's actually in Florida. She's getting some much needed family and beach time in. So George, while she's away, we can talk all the blood and guts that we want.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. So welcome to the Marsham Blood and Guts Hour.
I like it.
Let's see if we can go the entire hour without saying the word cute. You think we can do it?
Yeah, I think that everything we're going to talk about is not going to be that.
No, cute and Rhiniac are the two words that have probably been on every episode for the past 2 years. So if one of us says those words, maybe we should put like $5 in the pot or something like that.
Sounds good.
And that goes for you too, guest. I know that you're listening in. So George, we have a guest. He's been on a couple times before, but I don't think you were on with him actually. But we did a collector's edition with him, and he's one of my favorite people to talk with. He's everyone's favorite mule. So let's welcome back Scott Katler. Welcome back, Scott.
Thanks for having me back on. Number 3. Start getting your the 5-timer vest pressed for me.
Okay, we'll get you a patch made, maybe.
There we go.
Get you a pin.
Let's do a pin. It's easier.
We really should do that.
That would be pretty. A 5-timer pin.
Do we have to order 100 pins if we just want to give someone one?
Let's order like 25. We'll eventually have that many people.
Yeah, you've got a few. I mean, you probably already have a few that have hit the 5.
Oh yeah, no, we definitely do. There's probably at least
Adorables.
Data-Dub.
Yeah. What's his name from Super 7?
Chris Pachong. Probably, maybe Rhiniac? I don't. Oh, $5 in the pot! Shit!
Jeez. How far did we get? Like,
we didn't even get like 2 minutes in. Damn it! I blew that one.
Might as well have just said Rhiniac is cute.
Oh.
Before we get going, I want to apologize to our listeners real quick because I know we've been having a tough go at it this summer. We've been pretty sporadic with our releases, and that's because it's the summertime. We've all been doing a lot of traveling. I moved to Washington State. Teresa's in Florida, and she got sick, and then George has been out of the country, and he just went to New Jersey. So we haven't been as good about trying to be weekly or bi-weekly as we normally have been. So we're going to try to get back on track for you. But I also want to bounce this off you two. I feel like designer toy news as of late has been kind of confusing and tough to piece together. And I don't know if it's just because the news is coming faster and it's all over the place. So it's on IG stories and feeds and Facebook groups. I remember just going to a blog and being able to feel like I can stay on top of things, and that's not the times anymore. Now it's all over the place. And so do you guys sort of feel that staying on top of designer toy current events is more difficult than ever?
Yeah, I get that vibe. I think I'm slowly a little more detached than I used to be, but maybe it's just like what you said. It's like you go to a blog, you kind of feel like you're getting some information, but then you start seeing like random people talking about it on social media somewhere, and you're like, where was that information?
Right.
Like, unless you are like tuned into every single artist, you're not, like, it just becomes kind of an impossible task to know what's going on.
Right, yeah, exactly. And I'm glad I'm not the only one, because one reason we started this show is to sort of talk about the biggest current events that happen in designer toys, and we were just discuss them. But I feel like it's so hard to stay on top of it all because it's coming from so many different directions and so many places, and it really is. Like, that's one reason I want to lean on our Facebook group and people to help, direct us towards things, because I can't stay on top of it all and be everywhere and see everything. So if you do see something out there, please shoot us something that you think would be a great topic for the week and send us some links so we can be more knowledgeable on it and talk on it. But so this week there's 2 big drops this week that I think we should talk about, and I'm really not that knowledgeable and well versed in them because it's a lot of information to soak in, and I don't know that much about them. So maybe that's something we should probably start out with first.
Okay.
So, Scott, one reason I wanted to have you come on, because last time you were on, you were talking about how you used to collect 3A. And then this week we learned that it seems like Ashley Wood is leaving 3-0, his company within 3-0, or his... Explain this to me. So 3-0 is the master company, right? And then 3A was like a subsidiary company that only produced Ashley Wood toys?
Yeah, I guess I don't know how boring to make this, but so like the backstory is 30, which for those that don't know is spelled out if you want to look it up. That was founded by a gentleman named Kim Wong around the turn of the century. He made like 1/6 scale like weapons and accessories for hot toys sort of things, but they were kind of like an autonomous sort of brand. 3A is a partnership between Kim and Ashley Wood. And 30, they've always handled the production, the manufacturing, the engineering of the figures, and Ashley Wood does the designs, overseeing sculpts, creative director, and direction of the company. And so that's where like the two kind of it exists. Over the years, as 3A got more popular, and because of Ashley Wood's clout, and he knows a lot of people in the comic and illustration industries, 3A obtained licenses like Metal Gear Solid, and then like the most popular ones would be like Transformers and Marvel, and so they've had those. 30 along the lines, as they saw how 3A was doing really well with the licensed products, 30 kind of flipped into now a more of a customer facing brand and has done their own like licensing of 1/6 scale things that are really just not art. They're not, I wouldn't call them, it'd be like Hot Toys. It's not artist centric. It's Breaking Bad, it's Game of Thrones, it's,
Gotcha.
Walking Dead. And so then a couple years ago, I guess 3A, they got a new operating officer who then kind of just started to cut 3A products from the production schedule, or just not funding things because they're just like not selling well or risky ventures. And so there's like a point with someone like an artist like Ashley Wood where it's like you're just constantly still creating stuff, but if your partner is not making your stuff, you're just like, I've got to go somewhere else to make my stuff. So that's what happened.
Okay, so he's still going to be making toys, he's just going elsewhere.
Yeah, like Ashley Wood, his IP, he takes it with him wherever he goes. So 30 can't just magically make Ashley Wood figure on their own. And yeah, he's just going to take his characters and make them elsewhere. So
okay. No, that makes total sense. I got to admit, had you asked me if 3A was still producing toys before the news dropped today, I probably would have guessed maybe no. It's not a company that I pay much attention to. I've never bought a product from them. It's not something I collect. But I am familiar with them. I am familiar with the toys and the releases and the designs, and I know they've had a very significant impact on designer toys, and they help pave the way for others. But it's kind of like an actor that you're kind of vaguely aware of, and someone asks you if they're dead or alive. You don't really know. And that's kind of what 3A is to me. But when you heard the news today that 3A was closing, did that affect you personally in any sort of way, Scott?
No, I mean, I've been collecting 3A for a long time. I've gotten what I've wanted out of them, while still just kind of keeping tabs on what they're up to. Anyone who really, if you really look at things, you kind of seen the writing on the wall for a little bit.
Okay.
I guess I also have a little bit of an edge since I have some really good friends that work for 3A, so I can kind of get some info from them. But it was still kind of interesting news to hear, but it all makes sense. I mean, even like this year at Comic-Con, it wasn't called the 3A booth. It was the Ashley Wood Gallery was the booth name.
Okay.
But 3A, I think they described it the best. Like their thing was like, it's like a rock band. They're just changing labels, but the music stays the same. Yeah.
My first thought was, do I have anything in pre-order from them that I haven't got?
Yeah, since like 30 makes all this stuff, it's all gonna still, if there's anything left in the pipeline, it's still gonna get made and it's still gonna get shipped. It's 30 is the company doing all that.
Okay.
So yeah, you don't lose, like no one loses out on anything. I mean, because 30 became a bigger company with their stuff, they started getting into like more of like warranties, which you don't really see in like a design. You don't see that in designer toys. So they even had like a couple warranties for like 3A products of late, and those are still going to be honored. So it's, you don't really lose anything.
Okay. Well, I've never heard of warranties in designer toys. I don't even know how that would work, but Going back and talking with Ashley Wood again real quick, do you think him leaving 3.0, do you think he's still going to do the licensed properties? I know he was probably wanting to do it with 3.0, and he did some cool lines with them, but now that he's separating, do you think he's still going to be doing the licensed stuff, or is he going to be primarily working only on his original IP again?
I think he was on his end of things. He was doing it. It's just a matter of, and I'd say this shouldn't be like a 3A, a 3A screwed up royally and ruined what they had. Like, this is kind of the whole designer toy industry right now is licensed products, pay the bills, so the weird stuff can still be made
Right.
and it's all loss leaders. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, that's pretty right.
Yeah. So I think Ashley Wood was designing stuff, but it was all getting stopped on the storyboard phase, so to speak.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I mean,
Yeah.
once you start incurring employees and mass overhead and debt and stuff like that, you don't have much of a choice but to start licensing and doing some mass production sort of stuff for the mainstream audience, because paying those sort of bills and that sort of debt is really hard to do when you're only producing designer toys. So I get it. It's like, don't frown upon the Super Sevens and a lot of these other companies that have now done extremely well in dabbling with the licensed products. And that's one reason we're seeing a lot of licensed products, I believe, because a lot of these companies that started out just small independents, they've grown and now they have employees, and nobody wants to have to fire people that they've considered part of their family. So if to keep your family intact and you have to take on licensed properties, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But then you have a company like Superplastic, who I just read an article on the Toy Chronicle. We're going to be talking about them in a second, but they did a little interview with Paul Budnitz of Superplastic, and he was saying that their company is not interested in mass producing anything. Like they believe that if you're making something for the entire world, that you're basically just following trends and cultures and you're not really leading anything. So their philosophy seems to be, if you can just make 200 or 500 of something, you can take more risks, because you only need to find 500 people in the entire world to support your product. So I wonder if Superplastic is going to stay true to that philosophy. I mean, Scott, you've been familiar with the designer toys and how Paul Budnitz thinks. Do you think that's going to hold true for Superplastic going into the future?
I think we're gonna probably wind up talking about it more, but I feel like they're tiptoeing a lot, like maybe kind of a fine line right now, which could go either way with some of their recent announcement.
Okay, well, maybe we should segue into that then. We should just talk about...
Yeah.
Okay, so this week, Superplastic actually dropped a couple whoppers this week on us, and the biggest one was they made the announcement that they have received a $10 million funding for them to branch out into like an animation division of their company. So they're not going to be just doing toys. And what they're going to be doing with this animation division is they want to take their two popular characters, which are Janky and Googymon, and bring them to life via animation. And they want to make them respond to current events and the fan base quickly via social media. So they're looking to basically make them social media influencers. And so they created Instagram accounts for these two characters. And from what my understanding is, the animation division is to work with these two characters solely to bring them to life via social media. Am I getting that right? Is that how you guys understood it as well?
I don't know. I'm kind of not on the Superplastic train, so it was kind of... I thought Googymon... See, I saw Googymon, like, I know I've seen the name, like, from, like, promotion stuff, like, a while back, and I figured it was, like, some weird artist I haven't heard of.
See, that's exactly it. So they've been doing this whole time. They've been trying to promote this thing like Googymon or Gujimon or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They were trying to promote it like it was this. They even said like horror icon, horror hip hop icon, like. And then they had like Tony Hawk like pretending he knew who this person was. Like they were acting like this was like a real person. And now they've finally come forward saying like Googymon is this character we've created, and he like now you can go follow him on Instagram and follow him on Facebook. Like he's like Googymon's your new friend, and it's just like they're trying to become influencers. They want to be Instagram influencers so that Googymon can make money like selling you shit on Instagram. And it's just like I don't know. It just seems super lame. Like, what you have Huck? Why not have Huck be the guy who's you're trying to have people follow, and like he's the real artist. Why do I want to follow a cartoon character that you made up for your janky line? I don't know. To me, I don't care about it. Like, I'm not gonna follow Googieman. I don't follow dogs on Instagram. I don't follow cats on Instagram. Like, it's just I don't know. Like,
so none of this stuff impacts what you buy, George?
It actually made the exact opposite impact on me, and I purposely didn't buy the stuff when they started doing this. Like, Googieman is a real artist. Follow him. Like, I purposely like, and it's funny because I love the way the figure looks, and if they would have just come out and said Huck designed this new figure called Googieman, I would have bought that figure. But instead, they were trying to pretend like some fake horror icon hip hop artist designed it, and there was nobody there that really designed it. So I was like, "Fuck you! I'm not buying that."
It's like a 21st century version of gorillas, even though I know the gorillas are 21st century, but it's like a current version of that, I guess.
I guess, yeah.
Like, weird with a twist of like, I mean, the gorillas you knew were like not real per se.
And they like, you know who the gorillas really are in real life playing the instruments. Like, they didn't hide that.
Yeah.
So like, they would just say, "Hey, Huck is Googieman. Come follow Googieman. It's what Huck's gonna do when he's trying to be this cartoon character." Great. Don't lie about it.
So are you saying that they did finally come out and just say that Googieman is not?
Googieman is the guy. Googieman is this cartoon character they created. They created Janky and Googieman. Janky is, there's a bio on each one of them. If you go to the Instagram.
Yeah, I'm just looking on the Superplastic site.
Okay. So now we know it's a manufactured thing from Superplastic. So it's whether it's Huck or Paul or both of them, they are the ones that came up with Googieman.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm reading here on social media. So I'm reading the Toy Chronicle, and it says, giving Janky and Googieman lives on social media also opens up new avenues for revenue far beyond character licensing. So they'll be earning fees like real-life influencers.
Yeah.
And Superplastic is in talks with global fashion brands about partnerships. So this is potentially another revenue stream from them, which is interesting.
Yeah, I'll give them that. It's like a crazy take on, or like angle to go for keeping a brand going. I can't knock that. It's very interesting and, I guess, innovative.
Have you guys seen the images? What do you think of the designs? Honestly, I think they're pretty awesome. Like, I think these are really cool. I don't know if it's something like a figure that I would buy. I'm not into the fashion dolls or whatever, but as figures, as just plain photography, these are really nice looking images. So I can see where, in a marketing sense, this would work really, really well.
I mean, I agree. That's what sucks about it, is I like the figure. Like I said, I like the Googieman figure. There's just no way you're going to get me to follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, I mean,
do it.
Yeah. It's like, I guess on the social media people that are just going to randomly come across these, they could care less. But for me, it'd be like, I would enjoy more of the a back and forth where each character reflects like Paul and Huck in a way.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's their personas projected onto these characters, and at least for like the designer toy people, I think that would be more interesting than just like a whatever and a bunny looking thing saying like, oh, you should totally buy this potato chip. Not my thing, but
yeah, as I say, I think the more important part of that whole story though is the fact that they got a $10 million like buy-in for their company, and now they could just, I mean, you know how much crap you can make for $10 million? That's going to be amazing. Like,
yeah.
They don't ever need to go back to Kickstarter again.
No.
They'd be stupid not to. I mean, you still should, 'cause that marketing of Kickstarter is amazing for them. They seem to do really well with it, and I think that helps promote each line. Now you'd have to like rely on just this repeat buyers that are on your mailing list. I don't know, like maybe it might still be smart to go to Kickstarter still. I don't know.
Right. So the Toy Chronicle actually talked to, I guess they got in touch with Paul Budnitz at Superplastic, and they kind of interviewed him a little bit. And so, George, what you were saying about the Kickstarter as a platform that Superplastic launched the first two series of the mini Janky figures, Paul Paul's answer to are they going to be using Kickstarter in the future, his basic answer was no promises, but they think they're probably done with Kickstarter. They think going forward, especially with this funding, that they're probably going to be able to even forego some of the pre-order system and be able to get their toys direct to market instead of going the pre-order system too. So I can see where this really does help them for sure.
Yeah, I mean you definitely don't need the Kickstarter. It was really more just a commercial at this point anyway. I mean, if you have that funding, there you go.
And if you've got residuals from influencing an ads, that's there's your money. Like, you don't even have to have people, since all the influencing kind of revenue is not necessarily from buying, but just clicking on things.
Right.
It's kind of even easier.
So I'm reading now. I might have done a falsity. Is that a word? Falsity? No, that's not a word.
Falsehood? I don't know.
Falsehood sounds like a medical problem.
So I might have to do a retraction. I might have said that Superplastic has no interest in licensing. They definitely have interest in licensing. They're just not interested in mass production of anything where it's like 5,000 to 30,000 units or something.
Yeah, because I don't think licensing seems to be a problem with them. They got Louis Vuitton all over their Instagram. They got a whole bunch of stuff. So I don't think they're going to be shying away from anything licensed.
Right.
But let's, if you look right now, Googimon is way more popular than Janky.
Are we going to keep tabs? Who has more
Like,
followers?
Do you think Janky can ever catch up to Googimon, or does everyone like him better? So far, people like the bunny over the fox.
But you know what? Googimon's been having an Instagram account for a while now. So I think Janky is probably only new this week. So I think Janky can catch up. And I imagine the two are going to like cross-promote somehow. Or probably,
well, they do. They tag each other in a bunch of them already.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I don't know what their relationship's going to be like. I don't know if it's going to be bantery, if they're good friends, or I don't know how it's going to work. But eventually, let's check in on a month and see what the numbers look like.
Exactly.
Oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, so I guess at what point, I'm thinking of another brand that kind of wind up crossing the bridge, but like at what point does Googimon go from, right now it is like an independent designer toy and style. At what point does it cross into a license threshold? Is it when someone else, like a Hasbro, says like, hey, we're gonna make a movie make toys, make a movie? Or,
I mean, it's interesting. I guess we'll just have to cross that road when we get to it. But I think that they're going to be really careful as what they decide to cross promote. I think, knowing from what I've seen of Superplastic so far, it's going to be pretty large name brands that can tap into that social media influencer world. So I don't know that Hasbro or Mattel or something like that would be something they'd be into. But as far as fashion sense or music or whatever, or shoes or anything that's going to be almost a hype beast sort of thing, I could totally see them wanting to tap into.
Well, especially for Googimon, because like if you look at who he's following, there's like it's yeah.
Like, I mean, luxury. Is it like, oh well, I see you already tagged Billie Eilish in the
like
thing.
Chuck D, Billie Eilish, Childish Gambino, Missy Elliott, Ariana Grande, Sam Jackson, Versace.
Enough said. Now, who's Janky following? Because Janky seems a little more laid back. He's just wearing shorts and a hoodie. Googimon seems to be the one that's got the fashion sense and the style. He's dressed.
Yeah, Janky's following like Chrissy Teigen, Sket.
Sket, okay.
Jane Fonda, Miley Cyrus, Jonas Brothers, One Direction.
I was hoping for like a Nickelback in there.
Are they following anyone in the designer toy world other than Sket?
Yeah, Huck.
Okay, anyone other than the obvious ones, like
My Plastic Heart.
Okay, My Plastic Heart. Okay.
The Rock.
The Rock. Huh.
Yeah, like Scene. SEEN.
Okay, Superplastic is doing he's in series 2 with them, so that makes sense.
The Ellen Show.
I get it.
This is weird.
Ellen's got a lot of followers. I get it. Okay, so you mentioned that he was following Sketch, so let's jump to talking about that release, because that was another surprise release drop that happened this week. And so what this is, Sketch 1, he's the king of condiments, and so what he's done is an 8-inch super janky of a basically skinned a janky as if it's a Krylon can, and it's freaking awesome. Like I've never done graffiti in my life. I don't really relate to this in any sort of way other than that is a cool piece of art to me. And apparently the cap, it looks just like a spray can, and the cap pops off, and the inside is a real spray can nozzle, and if you shake it, it sounds like a real spray can shaking.
Like the old fat caps.
Yeah. And so an 8-inch super Sketch janky, or what's it called? Cranky. It's cranky. It's a vinyl figure, 8 inches, dropped today, $65, 505 pieces, sold out already. Sold out within the first few hours, I guess.
I heard people said minutes or seconds.
See, that's the thing that I don't know how far we can go with the marketing on that. That's what you want to say. That's what they want everyone to say. It's sold out in seconds, sold out in minutes. That's fantastic for marketing. But the day before, so they opened up 200 to the Super family, who basically got a 24-hour early purchase on it. And I clicked on that link yesterday. By the time I clicked on it, it was already sold out. So the first 200 sold out 24 hours before. Then they dropped today the remaining 305, apparently sold out in seconds. But then a few hours later, it turns out they opened up this pre-order system. This is a pre-order. It's going to be in hand around December. But apparently, unlike other pre-orders that they've done, this time retailers were able to get it. So I saw My Plastic Heart had it, Strange Cat Toys, and I Am Retro had it as well. But the weird part is, the price, retail price, was $65. And on the day of release, I Am Retro had it for $75. Do you guys think that's right? That on the day of a release, a retail store can mark it up?
Well, I mean, can't a retail store sell anything for any price they want? I mean, there's an MSRP, which is the manufacturer's suggested retail price. You sell it for anything you want.
Yeah, okay. That makes you're right. I totally forget about the MSRP, but I still don't like it. I don't like it. It just feels shady to me. It feels like on the day of release, all retailers should have it priced the same. But you're right. I mean, that Toys R Us or other retailers would have things priced differently than a Walmart and a Target. So yeah, in that regards, I get it. But I only saw it on I Am Retro first. I didn't realize all the other retailers had it, and I saw it for $75 on I Am Retro. And so it instantly made me think that they went to the Superplastic website and bought a bunch, and they were instantly trying to flip them for a small profit. And so in that regard, that's why I didn't like seeing the $75 price. It just doesn't seem right to me that a retailer in our industry should be selling it more on the day of release.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird. If it was like, a different colorway, it would make sense that, okay, it's a little bit different. But I mean, Superplastic is the wholesaler as well, so it's like there's not really, you're going to ship it somewhere.
And it's also weird how it happened. I don't think it was mentioned that retailers were going to have it. So as far as people thought, it was sold out in seconds. And
so do you think that that's still part of the 505, though?
It's definitely part of the 505.
Yeah, so maybe they took out if they sold 200 yesterday, they sold another 200 on the website today, and then another 100 to the retailers, maybe.
Yeah, probably. No. I mean, I don't doubt it, because it's really pretty brilliant marketing to do the Super Family early 24-hour release where they had 200 and supposedly sold out of that, and then the next morning, maybe they only had 100 to sell, and of course that would sell out in a few seconds, and then maybe retailers, between all of them, maybe they got 200 of the stock. And it's just brilliant marketing, because from the first two sellouts, people are going to be bummed they missed out. And by the time the retailers announced they had them, it would be a mad frenzy for people to scurry and get them. Even if they didn't want it, they're buying the thing because they think it's just popular and a potentially flippable property at a later date. So in the second I saw this thing, it was so good. It was so good. I knew it was going to sell out lickety-split.
Lickety-split.
Lickety-split. So no, it's great. Don't you think it's nice that a retailer, because retailers, a lot of stuff today from independent producers and even the companies are going direct to market. A lot of stuff is not going to the retail stores anymore. So it's nice that in this situation, the retail stores were considered.
It's also cool that it's good to have this first one sell out, because then that kind of opens up the gates for now they can do. The spray cans, you could do 1 million colors.
Yeah. I'm looking at. Just there's 4 colors right on the body that they're going to do those.
Yeah. So that's cool that this one sells, and then now retailers can jump in and get their own colorways and things like that. So it's nice.
You're not kidding. There's going to be 100 colorways of this thing probably. They're not going to stop at just 4. And this thing is designed perfectly for colorways. I know a lot of people bitch if someone takes a toy and they make more than 10 colorways of something, but in this case, I can't think of a more perfect platform or toy to have 100 colorways of something.
This isn't even the first spray can ever made. You know that, right?
True. Again, this, I don't normally pay attention to the urban side of the toy scene, so I know there have been.
I used to have a spray can
one
shelf.
I pay attention to.
That's how many spray can toys there are.
Oh, Jesus. See, I'm just out of touch. I don't know why I'm hosting this thing. I don't know what's going on out there.
Well, here, let me tell you about something that you will know nothing about, because it's from the UK, and it'll be complete news to you and possibly to some of the people out there.
Okay.
I got hit up on Instagram. Theo slid into my DMs. This guy Theo. We actually, I'm not positive if this is the guy we talked to while we were at the UK toy art convention. But we went to this guy's booth, or this company's booth at least, at the convention. It's called NEMA Studios. That's NEMA Studios if you want to look it up while we're talking. And these guys made these figures called The Incredible Adventures of Duck Boy. They were like really nicely sculpted. The packaging was really cool. And they went and just produced this whole line of figures already for that without doing like any kind of like Kickstarters or anything like that. And now they're making a new figure, and it's called Deathlatron. And man, let me tell you, this figure looks awesome. Like,
this thing's pretty cool.
The Duck Boys, or whatever, that's not really my style. I don't think I'd want to buy any of those, but maybe the robot one is kind of cool looking, but for other people, they're great. But for me, this Deathlatron is the one. It's going to be 8-inch. And the guy, I had him email me because I wanted to know a little more information. He said it's based on, or it's inspired by this. Oh, wait, hold on a sec. I'll go back to that. We got to pause for 1 second. Someone's at the door.
I love that. Someone's at the door. Who do you think it is, Scott? You want to take any guesses? You want to take some bets?
Amazon.
I'll bet it's like
or pizza.
It's like a neighborhood pest control that's going to say, we happen to be in your neighborhood this week. Would you like a discount or something like that?
Maybe it's just a kid selling candy.
It is.
Aww.
It's a solicitor. But our door is supposed to be locked, so I don't know how we got in.
I wish we could listen in.
Is the door locked?
That's
I'm guessing.
I guess the outside one's not.
Yeah,
FedEx can't get in to deliver me a package, but some guy selling chocolate bars can get in.
Those ones that we used to sell like during Little League?
It was a giant. It looked like a money, like it looked like a dollar bill or whatever, but it was like the size of like my arm. It was a giant candy bar for only like $7.
$7?
Yeah, it was totally worth it, but I don't know. Candy bar, strange kid. Didn't even have a parent with him. All right, so let me get back into this thing. Yeah, so this figure is based. I asked him to send me an email so he could tell me a little bit about what this is, and he said, Deathlatron is a throwback to an old 80s line of knockoff He-Man figures called Spectlatron.
Yeah.
The bad guy in that line is a purple skeleton with transparent glitter chest called Deathlore. So he collaborated with this guy Theo collaborated with this company called NEMA Studios in the UK, and they designed this Deathlatron figure. And I don't know, I just think like once he sent me the pictures, I was like, oh yeah, I'm all in. This thing's amazing. So what they're doing is a pre-order on their site. It's basically like, I think they're going to make it anyway, but it's kind of like a Kickstarter, and they're just trying to raise the funds ahead of time to be able to make it, because you know how much it costs to make this stuff.
Yep.
It said it's going to be 8 inches tall and sealed on a 14x7 backer card.
Jesus.
I don't know why he's doing a backer card instead of a box, but I mean, maybe that's
it's a really cool backer card. I'm looking at it now. I mean, it's nicely done.
Yeah.
That's huge.
And it's gonna have a bunch of like accessories. Like there's a gun, there's a shield. Like I don't know. This thing looks badass though.
Yeah.
It said there's, I guess, something in the pictures. Prototype pictures are factory proof. Said that the finished one will have a translucent glitter chest and translucent neon green armor.
Pretty cool. It reminds me also, it's like a Skeletor meets Judge Death.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This thing looks pretty badass. It's $60.62 right now for an 8-inch figure. I think that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah,
That's totally reasonable with the backer card and everything, plus all the accessories. I'm looking at the one figure. This is probably the one that you were just talking about, but it looks like it has detachable shoulder pads, a gun, a shield, and a helmet. I mean, that's You're getting a lot out of it.
It's pretty badass. I might have to order this figure.
Well, but it looks like George. This looks like it's gonna be a series. Once you get started, you're gonna need those other 3.
That's true. And look at those outlines. I do want them.
They got horns.
So yeah, I don't know. Go ahead, check it out if you're into it. Nema Studios again is the place you can go pre-order.
Yeah, and the figure's called Deathlatron. Pretty cool. Oh, someone's at my door. Let's go see who it is. Hey, look who it is! It's our sponsors! My Plastic Heart, Strange Cat Toys, 3D Retro. Oh, you guys didn't have to stop by, but well, I'm recording right now. So for our listeners, so you know, Strange Cat Toys, you can find them at strangecattoys.com. We have a promo code for them. It is, what is it? Guys, what is it? Marsham? Yeah, use promo code Marsham at checkout and you'll receive 10% off your entire order. And as also, if you go to myplasticheart.com and use our promo code TOYFAM at checkout, if you spend $75 or more and live in the States, you'll get free shipping with that promo code of TOYFAM. And if you happen to be in New York City, you can visit Vin and Kiba, look at little Kiba. You can visit Vin and Kiba over at My Plastic Heart in New York City. And then Ben, thanks for coming out. Ben runs 3D Retro out there in Burbank adjacent, California. So you can visit his awesome store out there. Otherwise, you can go to 3dretro.com. Ben, what's your promo code? What? You don't have one? Well, so listeners, just because we don't have a promo code for them doesn't mean you shouldn't support them, because they help support us, so you should definitely help support them. Otherwise, who's in the back there? Spanky Stokes! John Spanky Stokes! Look at you, prankster you. Thanks for coming out, man. So you can visit John's toy blog at spankystokes.com, and then who else is... Gary and Andy. Hey guys, they run the toychronicle.com, and be sure to download their app at any one of your favorite app stores. Just search the Toy Chronicle. But guys, thanks for stopping by, but I'm in the middle of recording with George and Scott here, so let me wrap this up, and then we'll meet up for pizza and wings afterwards? Cool. Now it'll just be a few minutes. We're going to wrap this up and talk about a few more things, and I'll catch you guys soon. Bye. Well, that was a nice unexpected visit. I always like seeing our sponsors. Now, George, you were just out there in, New Jersey for G-Con, the Four Horsemen convention?
I was.
How was that?
It was great. We had a really good time. It's basically just... I don't know if I talked about this last year.
You briefly talked on it last year, but yeah, go ahead and recover what it was.
Basically, it was just, we were sitting at Comic-Con 2 years ago. I'm hanging out with the Horsemen because it's like, it's the one chance I get to see them during the year when they come out here. And then if I go back for Christmas or something, I'll try and see them around that time. But basically, I see them once a year, and it's at Christmas, or maybe twice a year at PowerCon too. And we're all out there, and both of our booths are just crappy. They were doing an online release during Comic-Con, so it was like they were making their money online selling figures instead of at the convention. They're spending thousands and thousands of dollars to have a booth and fly out here and be here, be in California for 5 days or whatever, and then really just selling all their stuff online anyway. So we all decided, let's just get together in their studio and do the online release then, and they'd save all that money by save all that travel money, put it back into the figure, making more figures, and then the only money spent is me going out there.
Makes sense.
And then I don't have to spend all that money going down to Comic-Con and all that stuff. So it was just a way to just hang out with those guys. And what it turned into last year for the first time was, instead of just going and hanging out, they did a live. We basically broadcast live all day and interviewed a bunch of people and had invited people to their studio and just kind of hung out. So they did it again this year, and it was much smoother and much just ran a little smoother this time because everybody knew what was going to happen and we kind of knew what was going on. We weren't like eating lunch on camera or anything like that this year. We did still get the giant Taco Bell order for everybody that showed up, but there was no eating on camera this time. Everybody complained last year.
How are people viewing it then?
So it's live on Facebook and Instagram, on the Four Horsemen's Facebook page and on the Four Horsemen's Instagram feed.
Okay.
And I think on Facebook you can still go back and watch it, and I think we broadcast for like 7 hours, if I'm not mistaken. And I think you could watch all of it, and it's basically every half hour we did a giveaway and a new reveal of a figure they were about to put up for pre-sale.
Wow.
And they gave away test shots all day.
Like protos?
Yeah, like prototype test shots from the factory. So like when you make a toy, the first thing you get from the factory is what they call a test shot, which is usually in like a off-color material. It's usually like a gray or whatever. It's like a brownish. It's usually just mixed plastic that's all, put back in through the machine, and just whatever color it comes out is what it comes out. It's never a color you're going to use for something. It's usually in a darker color so you can kind of see the details, and in like a grayish color so you can see everything.
Yep.
And you use that to make sure the joints are good, or make sure all the accessories are there, or make sure that the details are what you want, and then you fine tune it from there before you go into full production. So these pieces are all like, sometimes there's, 3 of them made or something like that. Or, I mean, it could just be, some of them could be one-offs, but usually there's like 3 to 4 of them made so that you can really test out each figure, see what it is, and make sure everything is good. So these things are super rare. Never really available for the public, that kind of thing. So they were just giving them out all day.
Wow. Did they have like contests or raffles, or did they just give them out to,
it was
questions?
Strictly whoever was there watching during that time, like every half hour, whoever's watching and making comments, we just scrolled up and down through the comments and hit stop and just pointed at somebody's name.
That's cool.
Scott, you missed out.
I know.
Because you were this happened the weekend after San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah, this year was the weekend after. Last year it was during Comic-Con, and this year we did it the week after because I think CD wanted to go out to Comic-Con.
Now, during that time, did you talk about any of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff that they're working on with Super 7?
Has that been announced?
I think I mean, we know they have a license.
How did you know that they had Ninja Turtle?
Well, okay, Kyle Kerwin, so he wanted us to ask you if you knew anything more about the figures they're doing with the Four Horsemen and Super 7. So I didn't know if the information was out there, so I just did a quick Google search, George, and yeah, there is some information online about it. Apparently there was a Pixel Dan video that mentioned there's going to be the figures, and then Corn Boy back in February confirmed that they are sculpting some 7-inch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures for Super 7. So the information is out there, but not much.
I am not going to say anything because I have no idea what's been talked about.
Right.
I will say nothing.
Plead the fifth.
Yeah, I can't say anything. Once it's out, I will definitely talk about it, but I'm not saying anything. No way.
It's pretty cool that they're working. Do they normally work with Super 7? I mean, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, when Super 7 got the Master's license from Mattel, they took the Four Horsemen with them to keep going and making the line. So it was continuity of the figures, and everything looked as good as it did for Mattel. So yeah, they've worked with Super 7 quite a bit, and they have a great relationship with them, and the stuff they do for them is amazing. Yeah, I can definitely say that the stuff that they do with Super 7 is great.
Now, speaking of that Super 7 had the He-Man, Marvel, Masters of the Universe license. The past 2 or 3 years, they've been doing that as a pop-up shop during San Diego Comic-Con. This year, it was a couple of different things. The bodega with the Universal Monsters, and then the Oak Reef pop-up show using the Peanuts line, and no Masters of the Universe at all this year. Is Super 7 still doing the Masters of the Universe stuff?
Well, yeah, I mean they just funded that Snake Mountain playset,
Oh,
which
that's
was
right.
like $800 or something, some crazy price like that.
And that funded through Kickstarter, right?
No, they did their own like pre-order. Like
Oh.
as long as they got enough pre-orders, they would make it.
Okay, and it succeeded?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be the most insane piece for collectors.
Did you buy it?
Oh, no.
No. What was it?
No.
It was expensive, right? It was like $600 or.
It was six something, and then with taxes because we're in California, and with shipping, it came to $830. I think.
Oh my God.
And I just couldn't do. I mean, I got Castle Grayskull when it came out, and I still have never taken it out of the box. So I just thought to myself, George, you're an idiot if you buy this. And it's huge, and this thing doubles it.
Holy shit.
Like, this Snake Mountain is enormous.
Yeah, where are most people going to put that thing? That's kind of like the G.I. Joe airplane lander cruiser thing.
This thing has to be the biggest. Honestly, this has to be the biggest playset ever made.
Jesus.
It's really big, and the people that pre-ordered it are lucky. Because they're gonna have a killer piece in their collection.
I'm looking at it now. It's approximately 4 feet by 3 feet, 4 feet wide.
It's insane. Like, the fact that Super 7 is making this is insane. Like, that just shows the dedication they have to that line. It's really cool. The stuff they're doing that they're continuing with all this stuff is really awesome.
Yeah, and it's so impressive, and that's one thing that's great about Super 7 is they make things because it's something that they're passionate about and love about. Like, what is their mantra? Their mantra is something like, we grew up in the 80s, we like punk and Star Wars, but no one made the stuff that we wanted, so we're making it ourselves. It's something like that, and you can see that. You can see that they're putting that passion and love into these lines, and they're doing lines that it's not mass market appeal stuff. It's very niche. It's very nerdcore for a very small percentage of people, of collectors, but they're making it for those collectors, and those collectors love what they're making it so much that they're willing to, support what they're doing. Like that Transformers line they did. I never seen them before, but it was the Transformers with the clear chest plates. But someone out there knew what that was, and they were buying that stuff up. It's awesome.
It is cool. Crazy though, because now they are getting. I mean, with Ninja Turtles, because I think that they did have a Ninja Turtle set at Comic-Con this year. I think it was the reaction version.
Oh, on the pizza.
In the pizza box,
that
yeah.
was awesome.
So I mean, they are getting into the licenses that are very, like, everyone has. Like, it's those same, like, who doesn't have a Ninja Turtle license at this point? Like,
true.
But I mean, when that stuff comes out, if they're working with the Horsemen on anything, we'll have to talk about it then. Okay.
Interesting. Did you guys buy anything from Super 7 during San Diego Comic-Con?
I did. It's like one of the only things I got from Comic-Con.
What'd you get?
I picked up the reaction figure they did of Slayer's No Mercy, the bloody variant.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you know what that looks like, Gary.
I don't, but
Sure.
I had a mule pick me up some of the Charlie Brown peanut stuff.
Okay.
So I got the one that was the first edition of the first print or first comic of the Charlie Brown. I got that one, and they did pennants. So I got the Ogre yellow pennant. So it's cool that somebody else is out there doing pennants, and I'm sure there's selling better than ours did.
Hey, you started it.
I did.
I actually did get a piece. I purposely didn't look at what anyone was selling at Comic-Con this year because I didn't want to feel like I was missing anything. So if I don't know it, I didn't miss it. But Ben picked me up that Ninja Turtle and the pizza box set from the reaction set.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't even know. I had no idea what it was. He just wrote me one day and said, "I got you the pizza box," and I had no idea what he was talking about. And then I saw him after Comic-Con, and he gave it to me, and I was like, I had no idea it even existed. So, but it's pretty amazing. And now I don't know what to do because I hate packaging. And
that thing.
But it's so perfect. You have to keep it, right?
Yeah. So it's like now I have this giant pizza box I have to keep.
I saw one, like someone I know had one. It's so great because it's an actual screen printed pizza box.
So how do you display it, though? Do you just kind of put it at a 45-degree angle and then open the lid and pin it?
Or... forget about it.
Yeah, it's one of those sort of things. It's just kind of cool to know that you have it, but it's not something you display.
And then you sell it in 2 years at decon.
For half of what you paid.
But it is, I mean, I'm looking at it right now. I just pulled it out of the box. It's pretty freaking cool. Like, it just sucks that I have to keep this giant pizza
box
now.
It came with all the full crew, right?
Yeah, it's got the 4 turtles inside. I mean, I'll probably never even open the plastic. It's got 4 turtles inside, and they're mounted. Their blister card is a slice of pizza. So when you put them all together, it looks like they're on a pizza in the pizza box.
Nah, that's pretty awesome.
It's so good.
How much was it? How many were made?
I have no idea.
You just got friends that just buy these things for you. Must be nice.
Ben was nice enough to pick this up for me. He didn't tell me how much it was. Maybe it was a birthday gift. Thank you, Ben. If not, I hope I don't know him. I don't know.
Huh. Well, that's cool. And Scott, you were at San Diego Comic-Con, and
I was.
We heard George was saying that this year the designer toy section is actually moving. You know, in the previous years, it was shoved up in the back corner.
Yeah.
This year was
now we're in the middle.
In the middle. And so how was that? What was the vibe of it this year?
I think it was really good. There's a lot. I think it was more foot traffic, but not like the foot traffic where people are just like passing by, like they're actually like stopping to look.
Right.
I know, like I talked to a few of the artists, and like everyone said they were doing better this year, just because you have new eyes on it.
That's great.
I mean, it's a smaller section than it was in the past.
For those familiar with San Diego, like what rows were kind of
it was like more or less like I think it was like 2,000. No, it was like 2,200 or 2,300 to like 2,700.
It was closer to like the Mezco area, right?
Yeah, it was like they were right before Mezco. They were like right next to Entertainment Earth, and I think there's another big one. So Mattel might have been after. No, Mattel.
Yeah, I think Mattel.
I think it goes like Entertainment Earth, Mattel, and then the designer toys.
That's pretty great placement. Can't complain about that.
Yeah, because now with like all of the entire like the old designer toy area, besides obviously like Funko taking up the side of the wall, like Warner Brothers moved over and they just took over like pretty much the entire footprint of the designer toy section from like at its peak is like all Warner.
Holy crap.
It's like Warner Studios, it was like Warner, like the animation, the toys, the toy side of things. I mean, it's just this insane booth.
It's great to hear that, as far as you can tell, Scott, that the sales were better for everybody. Because it's one of those things, like, there was kind of a mass exodus on the designer toy booths. So, do you think people that left are going to regret leaving?
No, because, I mean, it's in a way, this kind of goes back to the beginning of this recording when, we're talking about artists, like, design stuff versus licensing with, like, 3A. This is how all the other companies are. I mean, Super 7 is, like, 95% licensed, and they have, like, 5% still of, like, their old school stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Kid Robot is, the majority of their stuff is licensed, so they can fund the small amount of really cool ballsy artist stuff. So, I mean, there's not that many booths left. They kind of are they both, are doing the license thing because that's what's going to get eyes at Comic-Con. And hopefully they will convert a few of those people.
Did you mule for people this year?
I did, yeah.
Was it easy to get most of the stuff then?
Most things. There was one dumpster fire of a release.
Literally a dumpster fire?
Dumpster fire.
So, so why was that so hard to get? Because I saw some rambling. Was it picked off just by exhibitors primarily?
No, so people haven't gotten that one. 100% Soft released a resin. You guys talked about it, I think.
Yeah, we mentioned it, yeah.
Yeah, the resin dumpster fire. What wound up happening is it got picked up by, like, Nerdist News and a few other, like, really big websites. So it just made it, the hype on it was just insane.
And there was only 50 pieces, I think.
Yeah, there's 50 of the one and 10 of the other, which I knew right off the bat, like, he is regretting, like, he didn't make more. But I think what was unfortunate was they were basically sold out before the doors opened because they just exhibitors were buying, like exhibitors were getting them, and they were only doing like 12 a day, one per person. And yeah, I mean, it's basically sold out before the doors even open.
Yeah, anyone who's never been to San Diego, that's exactly what happens. There's more exhibitors in there than actual exhibitors. A lot of the booths end up buying, because you can buy extra exhibitor passes. When you have the exhibitor pass, you can get in early. So a lot of the booths are buying their friends extra exhibitor badges and stuff. And don't be thinking that, that's unfair, because it's very expensive to buy that extra exhibitor badge.
Yeah, they don't get them. You're not getting them for free.
No,
aren't they double the cost of their ticket?
Yeah, so they're about 600. They're like what I think Comic-Con, like an attendee badge is now like 260, 270. So yeah, it's like $600.
Yeah. I think I stopped doing exhibiting maybe 4 years ago, and they were about running $450 back then. So I imagine now they're probably close to $600. So someone's paying a large amount of money. But before the doors actually open, what you see in that hall is a lot of meandering exhibitors, and they're over the intercom. They're exhibitors, get back to your booth. We're going to be opening it to the public.
No one gets back to their booth.
What happens is all these people that are meandering around, they go to a booth and they pretend like they're talking to you.
Yep.
And then the second that the floor opens, they run to that booth, and you'll see 20 to 40 exhibitors in line, and they buy everything up. So even though the people upstairs are running on the floor, they're just running as fast as they can to get to it. Outdoor attendees have almost zero chance to get any of these really hyped releases there.
And it's like, and it wasn't until I guess I saw that they said it wasn't until Saturday they decided to then stop selling to exhibitors, for Saturday and Sunday release, which is you're already too late. You should have been doing that after you probably should have learned your lesson on Wednesday night and then been we're going to either sell only to attendees, or I suggested them do a lottery every day for them. And I got a response that was, well, we want to be fair to everyone. And I kind of was okay, that's kind of what would be fair to everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, luckily they're making them more. He's making a zillion more in other colorways, so it's not the end of the world.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not like this is the one and done. I think he even said he was going to make them in vinyl, so there's going to be a zillion more dumpster fires that are hopefully less dumpstery.
Pretty nice for his first foray into the toy world, having such a...
good for him. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
Huh. It's actually he actually has plush out already too.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're actually really cute too. Kaiju kittens, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else? We posted up to the group today that we're going to be recording and see if anyone had any questions for you guys. I think we talked on most of this stuff. Thoughts on Hasbro Pulse big old transformer? That doesn't...
Oh, that big globe-looking thing?
I have no clue. I have no clue what he's talking about.
I don't know. I saw something like that at Hasbro. I don't know. Not my jam.
I haven't even seen it, but all I know is let's re-talk about Cookie Monster. Everybody order Cookie Monster.
Because they had...
It's not funding very well, is it, George?
It is not. There's no way that
they had it on display, a corner display for it at the Hasbro booth. It was kind of on a... the stoop of a house.
Yeah, I saw photos of it.
And George actually, your buddy was there, and so I said hi. I'm oh yeah, I totally just shamelessly name dropped you, and he was really stoked that you were talking about it.
Well, Billy and I used to work with Billy back at McFarlane Toys in the old days, so we go way back.
The thing was really cool though. I mean, I won't get one, but seeing it in person, I think it was pretty awesome.
Why aren't Hasbro using a Kickstarter? Why are these larger scale companies doing their own pre-order system? It seems like it was successful for Super 7 with the Snake Mountain, but something like Hasbro seems to be really struggling with the
They're not in it.
with the Cookie Monster. Do you think it would have fared better had they gone with a more well-known crowdfunding situation?
I think it would get shunned because it's technically for like independents.
Yeah.
But
Is that
like
true, George?
I don't know. Like, who says Kickstarter's for independents?
To get your because it's like to get funding. Like in a way, it's like Hasbro. You don't need the money to do it. Like you could just do it if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean it's true, but it's one of those things. Like if it won't happen because enough people don't see their site. Like
Yeah.
remember that day we were talking about it on this podcast? I couldn't even find it on the site. I had to go back to Gary's link he sent me to find it. Like I couldn't. Like they're not making it easy to pre-order.
No,
Yeah.
I've from some other things I've been close contact with, like Hasbro is like the way they like do their PR for things of like their own things is pretty bad. Like they almost like sometimes just release it to those like generic PR sites and that's it.
I'm worried about it. I don't think it's going to work, but I really want it.
So how did their pre-order system work, George? Did they charge your card, or is it just like Kickstarter where you don't get charged until it fully funds?
Well, you know what? I don't know. I didn't look at.
How do you not know? That's like a $300, maybe $400 item after shipping.
I put my card number in. I think it was charged.
Okay, and so if it
Maybe
doesn't,
they'll give it back if it doesn't work.
see that's the one reason why I like Kickstarter. Like you don't have to go through that process of not knowing if you're going to get refunded or not. I mean, how close is it to funding?
I mean, last time I looked, which was like a week and a half ago, it wasn't. It was not very many people.
Let's look at. Hold on, I'm gonna look it up. Let's see if I can even find it without going through
You
our
gotta type in Hasbro
DMs.
Pulse. That's the key.
Hasbro Pulse Cookie Monster.
Pre-order.
Yeah, not doing well at all. Funding ends in 24 days. Out of a target of 3,000 orders, they've only had 392 backers. That is not much at all.
Mm-mm.
And it's cheaper than I was expecting. It was $2.99 plus shipping.
Yeah,
That seems
I mean
very
it's a really
reasonable.
great price. Like that's an amazing price for the size figure that it is.
Yeah, and it's a figure. It's not just like a plush toy that just is a lump.
Yeah, it's got an
Like
armature.
sure. Yeah, it's really good.
I like how in the description there's an asterisk and it says limit 5 per transaction. Like they thought this thing was going to be super hot and people were going to be buying 40 of these things.
Aw.
No. Bummer. Well, maybe us mentioning it will help them get one more backer.
Well, I hope so. I think people should get it. I want it next to my Gonzo.
How is this Transformer one that someone was talking about?
Let's all look it up.
It's right next to it. It is. They're made. What is it? They got about 2,000 out of the 8,000 backers they need.
8,000 backers? That
And
seems
they
ridiculous.
got 30 days to go. What's almost a $600 item?
What is it? The Unicron that we're looking at?
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Oh, and before I forget, Teresa says hi. She was messaging me about something.
She just had to be on the show.
I feel
Yeah.
bad. I haven't talked to her in a while. Need to reconnect. She should be back next week if we're going to record next week. This thing is nuts. It doesn't even look like a Transformer to me.
Well, it's Unicron. He's a planet.
I've never heard of him. Does this thing actually transform?
I think so.
It right.
Look, there's the planet version right
You know,
there.
there it is. Interesting. Giant planet transforms. That's pretty cool. So speaking of pretty cool, and this is kind of continues with the theme that I was talking about earlier with things that are kind of hard to find information on and all that sort of stuff. Unbox Industries has been doing this series called Who Goes There? And they've been doing leaks, sneak peeks of a Series 2 coming up. And I don't think many people are even familiar with Series 1. So apparently it's a blind box series. From what I've heard, it seems like it did extremely well. Series 2 is in the works. You guys know what I'm even talking about.
Is that different than the other miniseries that you guys talk about?
The Unboxing Friends. No. That one's going to be seeing a series 2 as well. They've been showing sketches that Nathan Pong has been doing. He's the guy that it's an entire blind box series, but one artist reimagines the characters from a bunch of different other artists. So they've been showing some sketches from Retro Band and Kenny Wong and Scott Tollison and Pete Fowler Snorch is going to be a part of that series. And again, it looks like it's going to be another sitting series. But no, that series is kind of very cute, very Teresa. The one that I'm talking about, Who Goes There, it's very grotesque. It's from the few that I've seen, they're like unpainted for the most part. But yeah, there's just not that much information out there. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure where they've been sold. I don't think stores are carrying them. It's primarily sold over in Asia, but I just wanted to see if you guys followed this at all and knew any more information on it.
I don't follow them that closely. It was funny though, totally unrelated, but I was scrolled through my Facebook feed like a couple weeks ago, and since I follow the musician Iggy Pop, I saw like something, like a statue of him, and it said Unbox, and I had to like do a double take. So I thought it was pretty cool. They wound up, Unbox produced an Iggy Pop statue. Did not get it, but it was cool.
They're doing lots of stuff, but
that was a pretty unexpected one.
If you're not following them on social media, it's really hard to, and I am following them, but I guess I'm not checking my feed enough. I'm missing out on a lot of stuff that they're releasing. So.
Yeah. Oh, Unbox made that Krang Run the Jewels figure.
Yeah, they did that too.
That thing's awesome. I saw that at that show.
Is there any information about that Who Goes There series?
There's a little write-up about who's in it. Like it's on their
looks like they have Unbox Japan as another like Instagram page of theirs, so maybe there's something on there.
See, this is one of those things where you have to be a super fan to understand what this is and what's going on. I've seen unboxing videos, and the sculpts are just crazy stuff.
Well, it says there's 4 artists for this series: David Arshowski, Retro Band, The Last Zectron, and Bilesword. And it says all of them are marble, glow-in-the-dark glitter vinyl, unpainted. I don't know. It looks like a cool miniseries. They're $13.50. What do you want to know?
Where are you finding this?
Are they available, George?
It says add to cart right on their site. I don't know. I'm on their site.
Okay, yeah. There you go. So go to Unbox.
store.unboxindustries.info/product/who-goes-there-1.
That is a terrible link, George. Why can't it just be unbox.com? It's like this store.unboxindustries. Like, this is why it's hard to find info. Like, how in the world did you find that?
I just went to Google and typed in Unbox Who Goes There.
Oh, yeah. Okay, there they are. Yeah. Oh. I like the box. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the box, it has like the kind of like the peeper eyes that you pull.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a season 2 or a series 2 of this coming out, and I don't know if it's new sculptors or I imagine it's new designs, but I don't know if it's the same guys. Well, that is a terrible plug. I am sorry.
I mean, a plug is better. None of us even knew about it yesterday, so.
There we go.
Did you guys scroll down and see the designs?
Yeah, they're crazy.
Pretty cool, right?
These are anti-Teresa. These are everything Teresa would never buy.
That's why we call this the Marsham. What is it? The Marsham Blood and Guts Hour.
Yeah.
This is the anti-Teresa.
We talked about a Slayer bloody figure. We got these bloody marbled weird sculpts. This is the anti-Teresa episode.
Look at this one with the head and the wheels.
Maybe Teresa's just like a closet Slayer fan.
Yeah,
We'll have to find out.
No chance.
That would just be awesome.
No chance. She's not going to re-listen to this anyway, so we can say anything we want. She only listens to the episode she's on.
Smart.
What else is in this group that people are asking me? Talk about Hasbro.
I think we pretty much covered it. You know, George, something I want to mention to you, George, something you sent me, the Ragnar Pepper that you sculpted for 3D Retro, and you sent me one as a gift. It was very nice of you, but I took that out. I took it to work today, and I set it up. That piece is so freaking good. Like, it's just a beautiful design. Like, usually I don't like toys that have a base. It has a a really cool retro design base with the figure attaches magnetically, so you can have it with the figure without the base. But George, that is a fantastic toy, and I don't think it did as well as it should have.
Oh, that toy bombed. That toy did nothing.
Well, I love it, and I want to help promote it now. Like, where can people still buy that? Is it on 3D Retro?
I have no idea. I would imagine they do. I don't think it's sold out. It was a long time ago. That figure's old. Let's see if 3D Retro's got it on their site. Search Ragnar. Nope. There is a Ragnar Pepper Olive Green on their site, so you can get one version on their site.
And it says image coming soon.
But if you click on it, the image is there. I don't know why it's not. And that's my least favorite one too, the green one.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I saw all 4 of them, and it's probably the weakest of the 4, but it's still a good figure. I don't know, something about the green is not as strong as the other designs. Like the one I took to work was the red and black one with the axe. That one's just striking, really nice. So, anyways, I know it's an older figure. It's probably like 8 or 10 years old now, but I at least wanted to talk about it and help someone who maybe missed out on it go search it and pick it up.
Well, you can at least get the green one.
You can get the green one.
I mean, it's still good. I don't know why they posed it like that in the picture. He's supposed to have his arms up holding the money bags. It's a strange picture. It's not the best picture of it, but I mean, it gives you an idea. Yeah, each guy is a different color. They each have a different set of hands, and they each have a different skull on their hat.
Yeah, the hat detachables. It reveals a creepy looking one-eyed, head on the inside. I love the base, and you can place. It's a pretty big base, and because it's magnetic, you can slide the guy around and place him wherever you want. I have mine, off to the right. Looks really cool like that. But yeah, it's a great figure.
I don't think it's magnetic.
No, it's dude. There's something going on, and it holds it in place. That guy is like top heavy, and yet when you put him on the base, he has a little snap to it.
I don't think so.
I think so.
I mean, it was a long time ago. I could be remembering incorrectly, but I don't remember ever putting a magnet in it.
Am I misquoting it? No, I think it's magnetic, dude.
I don't think so. I'm gonna say no in case someone buys it because of magnets.
This is the terrible Marsham plug hour. We are doing a horrible job at promoting things. Let's wrap this up.
Okay.
Scott, thanks for joining, man. I know you had to go to work early to get in an hour and a half and 2 hours of LA traffic to come and join us sometime, but I appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me. I know I'm home. Probably this is about the time I get home normally, so.
Okay. Well, anyways, thanks. So why don't each of you take a brief moment and let our listeners know where they can find you? Scott, go first.
You can find me in various toy circles on Facebook land under my name. That's good.
It's good enough.
You want to say your name?
Oh, Scott Katler.
Spelled with a K, Katler.
Katler. Those that need to find me know where to find me.
Yep. And I love your posts. When you posted on Facebook, you mentioned like how much this community means to you because you went to San Diego and just how great it is seeing everyone and just having all the friends. And then you're in some of the Facebook groups. I saw a really great post you did about shelving, letting people know what shelving out there to where you can higher and lower the shelves, how you can it was just a whole entire thread about shelving units for your collections and how you can adjust shelves. That's a great thread.
Yeah, I hope it keeps on going because I realize people even still are like, someone asks like, where do I buy a Delta from? I'm like, oh yeah, this needs to be laid out.
Which group was that one in again?
Kid Robot Buy Sale Trade.
Okay.
And it's pinned in the announcements.
It's pinned.
And so it's like, it's just like gonna be like an ongoing thing so anyone can post like their whatever maybe what they use or the hack if they've got like, oh, I bought a Delta but I did this to like the legs or something like the base to make it better. Like just one area where people can get all the information and make their stuff look nicer.
No, it was a cool thread. I was going through it. I mean, it's 90% IKEA stuff, but it's still really cool to see what the hacks that people had.
Yeah.
Okay, George, where can people find you?
You can find me at Double G Toys, and also we didn't mention earlier, but you should also go to the Store Horseman and pick up that Mythic Legion set that we were talking about during G-Con. It's a pre-order right now for the new set. It's the Arethyr set. of Mythic Legion figures, and the all-in price is $410 for like I don't even know how many figures, a ton.
And what was the
Like
link again?
9.
Store Horseman?
Yeah, Store Horseman.
Huh. That's pretty creative. I like it.
Just go to Store Horseman, and you can either buy anything separately, or if you want to pre-order the whole set, it's up there. It's available. But yeah, these figures are amazing. If you haven't seen them, go check out my Instagram or go check out Four Horseman's Instagram, and look at all these pictures because stuff's really cool.
Very cool. Okay, I'm Gary Ham. You can find me at superham.com or Gary Ham on Instagram. This has been the Marsham Toy Hour. We're going to try to do better about bringing this to you, not weekly, maybe bi-weekly. I don't know. Let's see how it goes.
Whenever we do this, whenever we want to, and you'll have to enjoy it that way.
And Gary, you owe the pot $5 since you're the only one that's screwed up.
Yeah, okay. I'll split it up between you guys, $2.50 each.
Woo.
Woo!
Now you're
Maybe we
talking.
should send it to Teresa.
Okay, so until our next transmission, we're signing off. Bye.